Hey there guys, and welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Today we're going to have a closer look at some of the defects or build quality problems with the wrong food grinder. And please don't get me wrong, these satisfied a part of the market that kept making bird sounds, the old cheap, cheap, cheap. And it's a case of the customer getting exactly what he asked for and then several years later complaining about it. But this was made in 1998 and there wasn't a large number of cheaper tool and cutter grinders available at the time. And although these machines are limited in quality and capacity, they really did fill a hole. You either paid many, many more thousands of dollars or you went without. That's the choice that they had back then. But being built for speed and for cheapness does leave a little bit to be desired. And straight away I'm finding things that are not really fabulous, and I'll show you a few of those later on today. I don't have a lot of metrology equipment. My surface plate is about a third of the quality of this item, so it's just a piece of junk that I use. I occasionally use the table on the horizontal borer, but I don't know that that's really going to help at the moment. I would like to use the horizontal borer for the repairs because a lot of it is flanges such as this that have been made horribly out of skew, but the horizontal borer is waiting for some wiring work and I'm still waiting for spare parts to come in for that. The most accurate thing I do have, look at this for a straight edge. And it says on a little plaque right under my nose, Moore and Wright, Sheffield, England, 1945. And for some reason there's an arrow on it. And it's never even had the preservative paper taken off it. So I do have one accurate item, and where I'll use that is once I clear all this rubbish off the table. I'll be putting it along the table and putting a wee feeler gauge under it to see just how flat the table is. Luckily, the coolant tray area is about 3 millimeters below the surface of the table. So I'll stop with the noise, zoom you in a little bit closer and let you look at a few of the things I've found so far. Mainly it's with flanges not being faced off correctly and only contacting in a few areas. I was going to tear the table down and everything, but I'm not going to do that because that disables the grinder until it's fixed. And also, at a later point, I've got all these other flanges that I have to look at once I've got the borer up and running. So it's no good doing half a job. I will scrape these where possible and get it to run a damn sight better than it was. And with items like this that are on angle brackets, if you don't have a good line directly to take the grinding force straight through the table and out, you just start to get chatter, heaps of vibration. And when you see what I've actually got as contact areas on here, you'll understand why I've got a bit of problem. I'm quite surprised with the workhead. The rear collar, or the thumb wheel that you turn, just pushes up on the rear of the bearing, and that's your adjustment for axial preload. A grub screw in the side, and no shit seal whatsoever, and no problem. There's no crap in the back there. I'm just amazed. It's the same with the main bearings. It's just a slinger ring. I have had those covers off and re-greased them. It's just a slinger ring, and it's kept the crap out for 38 years. 28 years, sorry. I was a decade ahead of myself. So yeah, they do work. Slinger rings do work. Okay, bring the camera in and try and get the light a little bit closer and give you a look at what I've done so far. Okay guys, we'll go over this piece by piece. This is the base. It was set up on top of the riser, and you can see it's only been sitting on these two sections, pulled down by these two bolts, and I will check against the straight edge to see if we've got any dip that way. The two keys here are rebaited into the main surface. Well, bring it over a little further. Are rebaited into the surface, so it won't take much just to put those on the shaper and give them a little bit of a trim if it's needed later on. Roll that over, and this is the upper face of the main base. There is an outer ring which is made of steel, and that's graduated, and it sits about 1.5 millimeters proud of the cast iron base, and this has been contacted fairly well all the way around. So I don't think I'll have much problem with this side and this side will now become my reference. So if I made this side correspond to the other, I don't think I'll have any problem. And also, it's hard to get something accurate when it's all covered in shite. So I'll be giving that a little bit of a scrape and clean up and see if I can make it fit a little bit better. Swing the camera across just a fraction the other way. Sorry guys for the muck around. That might be a little bit better. Okay, next up, this is the riser, and I hope you can see that well enough. Look at my little Mr. Pointer. There's about a 8mm long contact area there, 4mm there, 5, 3, and a couple of little touches. So there is no way known that that is giving any reasonable support, and it's dinged up here where they've riveted on the scale on the outside, so that's poor manufacture. But the rest of it, I can't feel any ding. It just hasn't been faced out accurately, so that's got me scratching my head. But that definitely will clean up. I may be able to mount that on a faceplate on lathe. Do I want to? I honestly don't know. I don't have a facing head for the milling machine, so I can't do it that way, so that might have to wait for the borer as well. Although I should be able to scrape that and do a re-reference with the mating part and probably get it down fairly good reasonably quick. Okay, now we come to the workhead. It's this part here. It has already ground thousands and thousands of cutters. The rear of the main shaft is threaded. This is the adjuster nut for the bearing. Still the original grease in there. All quite clean. I'm gobsmacked. How the hell can you have something like that that's not sealed up on a tool and cutter grinder and last this long? So I'm thinking I can take all the slack out of the bearings just by taking it up a fraction and then lock it with a grub screw. So that should be serviceable. That's the draw bolt. I'll just clean that up and lubricate it, and I think that'll be good enough. Once again, we have another surface here, which is to nod the head. I can see a ding in the side here. I did go around this with a little slipstone, this old broken thing here, and I can see a couple of high spots here and over here. So this definitely wasn't sitting flat. And that is the mating surface. I can see there's a contact area here and a few minor striations. And look, that's probably 3 or 4% of the total contact area. So would that suffice to do a good job? No bloody hope. Not a hope in hell. So I've got a little bit of scraping to do. Hopefully get the borer up and running. Aaron, if you're going to build a head for your tool and cutter grinder, you can see just how simple this is. And the Clarkson assembly, I showed that in the last video. It is so easy as you can buy not an easy reach. Yes, it is. That assembly, straight shank 25mm, ER32 collet chuck, and M&G Productions have got these with 3 more taper straight shank, a few different varieties, $38 or $39. And that's my own indexing collar for the back of it. So all you need is a lump of bright mild steel if you want to do it cheap, a couple of bearings, even plain bushes would do, and you've got a workhead made. So no excuses, none of this, oh, it's too difficult or I need drawings. BS to that. Use a bit of imagination and just build something. Okay, I'll clear the table, give it a little bit of a clean up to see what I find underneath it, and then I'll drop the flat edge on there and see if we can't put a feeler gauge around it and see if it is as crook as the rest of it. Well, I think honestly it's not going to take too much work to come out with a really good tool and cutter grinder out of this. Okay, I'll get the monster straight edge. The best of British quality from 1945. I'll start off with a tooth hour feeler gauge just for a bit of rigidity. So far it's very promising. Wow. Just starting to get 1.5 thou in the back there. It's only over the last couple of inches. No, that's good enough for me. There's no use striving for 2/10 of a thou when you don't know how to use it. And I'm not a tool maker's behind. I'll admit that. Okay, I've only gone over this with a scraper. So far, I'll wash that down. I'll see if I can pick anything up on it with the slipstone. There's a few little burrs there. I use this thing more for cleaning. Get the last of the rubbish off it. Now it all feels fairly good. Nothing along the edge that would have lifted it. Now I think it's a good working surface. There's 2 bolts in it, or 2 socketed cap screws that allow you to pivot the table. There's no scale on it. I don't know how far around you can bring it. Actually, I might struggle with that and bring you back in. We'll have a look. Okay, guys. I just loosened off the 2 socketed cap screws. And away we go. And look at that. Pristine. Like the day it was bloody built. So, unlike a surface grinder or my cylindrical grinder, where all the cooling liquid gets in there and causes a bloody mess, this is in really good nick. So it's making me think, how far do I go with this effort? Okay, well, you've seen what we've got to do. I don't know whether to wait until after I've got the horizontal borer back in action. I don't want to dismantle it to the point where I can't use it readily and not get it back until I get a non-going machine repaired. That'd be a shame. Okay, bring you back in a sec. Okay, I did a bit of He-Man lifting while you're away, and I'm absolutely amazed. It's even epoxy painted underneath. Wow, that is really, really good. It's got a casting defect there. Well, that shows the cheapness of it. But yeah, this is just going to clean up really well. Once again, it's still all the original preserving grease on it. Bloody heck, after all these years. Okay, well, I've got to reassess now the quality of the machine. I'm going to say it's most likely that Rongfu themselves make the table, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if some of the accessories like the workhead and the brackets, etc., aren't subbed out to a completely different factory. And as a matter of fact, the brackets, the workhead, etc., would probably fit half a dozen different tool and cutter grinders. So that could explain a little bit of the difference in quality, but it also means I've got more incentive to put some hours into this. The table is reasonably flat on the surface without being scraped yet, and we'll check that with the scraper. The sub table, yep, really good condition. I'm happy with that. Okay, guys. Well, better turn my screen around. I don't know whether I'm in it. Oh, near enough. Okay, guys. Well, this answers my question, is it worth proceeding with? And I'm going to say most definitely. It's still one of my favourite little machines to work on. And now that I've found that this part of it is fabulous, I think the brackets, etc., won't be too hard a job. Even if I have to hand fit them, a bit of scraping, I should be able to get them to come together a lot better. The workhead spindle is just a piece of simplicity. It's all light. It will never perform anywhere near as good as the Haro for really accurate grinding, but then most of the things like annular cutters, etc., you're not really looking for that. So, okay, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And as I do each progressive part of this job, I'll bring you back and you can see how it's going. Bye for now.